Welcome to the best thing since sliced bread, and welcome to PTV. I am your host with the most British like a roast, the P to the Y to the R to the O. It is your boy Pyro, joined by my co-host from the West Coast, Johnny. Say hello, Johnny Cafe Johnny.
Cafe Johnny is here. Raw is ready. Let's go.
That is right. You are representing Johnny Night Raw. I am representing PyDay Night SmackDown. We are here on GM mode, WWE 2K24. Let's get into our second episode. So, how did you find week one?
Interesting. Yeah, there's... Oh, you got some emails.
Yeah, I got some emails. I'll read those and you give your thoughts.
I built up some rivalries. I'm going to start building on those, and that's really good. I did make a goof with R-Truth, but you know what? I think I gave him a little bit of a story there with coming in on Lashley during the main event and making it so Jey Uso has the title.
One of the things we touched on last week is Triple H will message you if you're not doing so well, and here he has messaged me to warn me that Michin has got her stamina below a level 40, and if I book her too much, she risks an injury. So be kind to Michin. I will bear that in mind. Thank you, Papa H. So how did you find GM Mode? Your first interaction with GM Mode as a whole, Johnny?
As a whole, I'm surprised, I guess, by the amount of menus, but it makes sense. Like, you could be doing a lot of time just watching if that wasn't the case. I find it really interesting. I think it gives you a serious amount of variety and a lot of interesting perspective into the idea of booking wrestling as a whole, for sure.
So, last week,
emails.
We did stuff. I've got emails to read. Why don't you remind the Pyromaniacs what we're doing, why we're here, and what's going on, and I will book a SmackDown.
Yeah, so I'm just also going to try to do this without looking at your screen, so as not to try to mimic exactly what you're doing. Yeah. We are playing the GM mode in WWE's 2K20. Is it 23? What number is it? 24? Sorry. 24. The idea behind this is that since I am new to wrestling as a fan, and Pyro is a long-standing, lifelong wrestling fan, we kind of wanted to see how it would shake out if we each respectively had our own shows, one being SmackDown, the other one being Raw, and see, kind of, not compete, compete's not exactly the right word, but kind of just see how it all sort of shakes out. If with my limited understanding of wrestling and Pyro's massive understanding of wrestling, and see what kind of shows we end up developing out of those two experiences. So, as Pyro continues to set up his folks, his roster on Pyro Night SmackDown,
PyDay Night SmackDown.
PyDay Night SmackDown. Apologies. And Johnny Night Raw will be coming up shortly. Yeah, so it's been an interesting experience so far. I know that there are a bit of knowledge gaps. Pyro's been playing, not only watching wrestling for a long time, but playing WWE 2K games for quite a while. So he's very familiar with some of these systems. I'm still kind of stumbling through it and ignoring R-Truth at my own peril, which was a huge mistake.
This week you're going to read your emails.
I did read it, and then I thought pressing X would give me to the next part, and then I didn't realize I was already on the response thing.
It's the Triple H thing you needed to read, because you said the wrong run-in,
That too, yeah, I tried to do a run-in. But in my defense, I think telling the story that R-Truth is mad at me so he doesn't run in kind of works.
It kind of
doesn't work for this mode.
Indeed, true.
Like, it would be a great story to see on TV, but nah, the mode goes, no, you do wrong, so... I don't think I'm in any real danger of losing R-Truth. I think he just kind of became a little bit unhappier with that choice.
Yeah, you just have to keep an eye on his morale. Okay. So. Don't book my most popular.
Oh.
How bothered about that am I? Oh, I kind of want that. Who's my most popular? Sorry, I've almost rounded off in the time that you've been carrying. You've been carrying beautifully. Don't book KO. I could not book KO. All right, no KO.
No KO.
Does
No
that make
co.
ha 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 happy? That do make ha 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 happy.
He was very happy.
He's ha 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 happy.
He's clapping along if
There
you
we
feel
go.
like happiness.
So
is
yeah,
the
we had a
Bobby!
good first week. You got to grips with GM mode. I'm now going to let you read your emails whilst I kind of ramble to you about what's been happening in the last week in wrestling.
I want a rematch in the next 2 weeks. Okay, this time I'm not going to say no.
Because our week in wrestling kind of mirrors this. We with where we are, we essentially start with SmackDown, and things happened on SmackDown that I remember that are definitely things that happened. We had a couple more qualifiers with Legado del Fantasma going through to the title match at Mania. And I believe this week coming up on SmackDown, then that leaves the other qualifier on SmackDown to be between Pretty Deadly and the New Catch Republic. And Logan Paul got himself in some shiz because he's going to get himself in a triple threat US title match against Randy Orton and KO. That KO into the stunner, or the stunner into the RKO rather, was a thing of beauty. And then as Raw rolled around, Sammy got into it with Chad Gable, and there's I don't know what they're doing with that. If they're like setting Chad up to slowly turn, or if they're going to introduce him into the rivalry, or if Sammy does win, will Chad be his first stop after Mania? Who's to say? There was an excellent tag team match between DIY and the Creeds. That was some
that
top
was
quality
pretty good to watch.
shiz.
That was great Creedness.
You know, even though the Creeds didn't go over, that match didn't do them any harm. That was a good coming out match for them. Well, I say coming out. They've been established a couple of times, but I think where they're being used so sparingly, you have to give them a good showing each time they come out, whether they win or lose. Not sure how I feel about their new generic tag team theme entrance. That was a bit meh. And they kind of like zhuzhed up their presentation a bit with like the grey singlets, which was a bit like college wrestling, which is, I get, it's their background, but I think it had more presence and personality to it previously. And then your main event in Raw, you had the last woman standing match, Becky putting Nia Jax behind her as the man came out victorious. Had some fun spots in that match. Boy, did they have trouble with the table at the beginning of it. And that was kind of an accidental precursor of things to come, because it started with trouble with the table and ended with a leg drop off a ladder through a table, which was a beautiful spot. NXT, Trick Williams took on Noam Dar. There's a nice kind of inside moment going on there, because his IRL other half is in Noam Dar's faction, so now that their characters have started to kind of flirt and interact with each other on screen, it's just like nice to see them getting to work together. And that we're building to the modern day kind of Shawn Michaels, Marty Jannetty breakdown, with Trick taking on Carmelo at Stand and Deliver. There's the build and the rise to the Don, who I think is about ready to take the NXT title from Dragunov at Stand and Deliver. And for those who aren't familiar, he's basically like Tony Soprano and Robert De Niro put in a blender and given the skills of a wrestler. And he's brilliant, and I love him. And then you've got Dragunov, who's just like this invincible Russian madman. So, like, mafioso, mob boss versus, like, Russian hard man. Right. That should be a good story for Stand and Deliver. And, yeah, there's good stuff going on. We all booked on Raw?
We are.
I see blue in front of me, so let's see, on SmackDown, so I took KO out of the opening promo spot because Triple H wanted me to keep him happy. But to open, I have Tamina and Alexa Bliss furthering their rivalry. It's a submission match because with a submission match, there's a 50% chance that the rivalry will go up by 2 instead of by 1. So let's see who's going to come out on top of that match in 3, 2, 1. It's Little Miss Bliss. And the rivalry grows by 2. Thank you for making that perfect point for me. So that is a level 4 rivalry ready to pay off at the PLE, which means I can rest them next week on the Go Home show. No promo, because said no. But Briggs and Dom Dom, they need to have at it, and they need to grow their rivalry. And Dom Dom comes out with the win, and that rivalry also grows. 2.5 stars, not bad, but more importantly, it didn't outperform my opener. Oh dear.
I lost you.
Apparently you've lost connection.
PlayStation is having struggles right now, so this is something that might be happening to us. But the game's still active on your screen, right?
Game's active on my screen, and I can still hear you, so I'm going to assume you're still here, but I'll double check once we get through.
I'm not still there. I've been kicked out. You need to resend share play.
Okay, I will do that once I get through SmackDown. So Kira Tozawa cut a bad promo. He is less popular for it. Solo and Cody Rhodes, they're going to have themselves a little scrapperoonie. It's okay, their rivalry grows. Michin calls out Tiffy, who's busy in the main event, and their rivalry also grows. Tiffy wanted a rematch for the women's title. I also wanted to see if I could grow 2 rivalries at once, or the Cora Fallon Henry, as well as giving Tiffy what she wants and making everyone happy. So we've got a fatal 4-way. We've got a new champion in Cora Jade. It's okay. I don't know if that's going to help me with a poor closer. All right, so talk us through Monday Night Raw, Johnny Night Raw.
Also that this game needs a multiplayer mode that is less not share play. So, on Raw this week, we have an opener triple threat match. Extreme Rules. Trying things out. I think this is to see where this kind of goes as far as quality of show, and also to help hopefully continue to develop the rivalry between Io and Becky. I'm not sure triple threat matches do that, but we're gonna find out.
It can.
Yep. And then on the mic, we've got some training for Jay. Wanted to put him in there and see about getting him a little bit more XP. In the mid card, we got Damian and Big E continuing their rivalry. And also in the second mid card, we got Tyler and Jimmy also continuing their rivalry. That's why those are their one-on-one, mid card matches. For Charity, because of her quality on the mic, we got Charlotte Flair.
Sure.
And in the main event, I am giving Bobby Lashley and R-Truth another match with tables. Let there be tables.
Get the tables, because we want tables.
I'm going to simulate this, see how this goes.
In
the triple threat match, Io Sky is the winner. Ooh, and we get a nice growth.
Good rating as well, 3.5.
I like it. All right, on the mic.
You gave 1 XP.
Whatever. And
that's
then we're going to see between...
roll the dice, though.
Yeah, Damian and Big E. See if this increases their rivalry a bit. Damian takes the win, and their rivalry grows. The match is okay.
Yep.
I kind of expect my mid-card matches to kind of be okay. There's not a lot going on there, so...
Sure.
I'm okay with that. No rivalry update, though.
Okay.
Oh, excellent job on that. Sorry, on Charity, which is great.
Well done, Ms. Flair.
And then in our main event, we will see how this shakes out.
Oh,
Bobby Lashley takes the win.
He's got a frowny face. He is most grumpy.
He is a little grumpy with me. I think he's been grumpy with me since I messed him up. But their rivalry continues to grow.
All right, so I managed to come out with good booking. Okay, so those matches matched. So at least I didn't underperform. And you also got good booking. So I came out with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rivalries continuing to grow. And you came out with 1.
3, I think.
1, 2. Oh, wait, is it the bait one?
Theirs didn't grow.
Oh, it was already on one. So 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, let's see what the numbers say. I gained an extra 44,000 fans, and I made a handsome $26,000. Any interesting notes? I like tonight's SmackDown. Keep it coming. I will. I will keep it coming. Cora Jade gets payback on Fallon. It felt like there wasn't a good balance between fan favourites and rule breakers in the Fatal 4-Way. You're right, that's probably why it underperformed. They like to have 2 of each. I think I overloaded it with heels. So, how did Raw do? You gained 53,000 fans. Nicely done.
This is a good one
made
for me. This one worked well.
a handsome $24,000. Your show quality, you got a B, a D in quality and a B in match quality. No important notes, but these guys will give you some clues as to what's working and to what's not.
There we go.
So I got my special promo for doing what ha 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 say. You got a... Oh, God, you're just loaded to the fucking back teeth with diddle cards.
I get to just handicap it.
Yeah, I'm not looking forward to it. But as the standings go, coming out of week 3, I am still numero uno with a lead of 7,000 fans. Wow, PlayStation, you're just being a little fucker tonight, ain't you? And we're back. Let's go into our go home shows. You sneaky diddling son of a biscuit.
I'm just trying it out.
All right. I can't
see how these things do it.
I'm just disappointed. You're gonna steal 10% of my fans from my PLE. You son of a biscuit. All right. Well, talk to me about your experiences with wrestling and what your thoughts on stuff. And whilst I booked SmackDown. Tiffany has
stuff.
Tiffany has wants and needs.
Yeah, she does. My experiences with wrestling. Yeah, it's so funny. Like, I don't know how many times we could retread some of these ideas, but you know, being an old man, and knowing the popularity of wrestling in the '80s, you couldn't swing a dead cat without being aware of wrestling.
Sure.
During that era, certainly, Macho Man on TV selling me meat sticks, and Hulkamania running wild everywhere, and Ultimate Warrior and Sergeant Slaughter on G.I. Joe. So there was no avoiding it. It was so ever present in the pop culture, and I had lots of friends who were really into it, but it was unfortunately something that also had at that time the unfortunate fake stigma.
Yeah,
this
sure.
is not me saying wrestling is fake. It's just that's the stigma that was very prevalent at that time.
I understand.
Thanks, John Stossel. So it was something that, because that was so prevalent, and I was more into, as a young kid, kind of martial arts, I didn't watch, or I never really watched an episode of wrestling. I was never into it, even though I was aware of it. And that probably, not that I kept with this attitude about wrestling and thought that it was beneath me or anything, but certainly through the 90s and into the Attitude Era and all the other times that I wasn't watching wrestling, it just wasn't something that piqued my interest. Definitely something that, when it permeated the zeitgeist, you couldn't help it. Like,
sure,
we all knew who The Rock was. Was aware of who Stone Cold Steve Austin was.
Sure.
I remember seeing The Undertaker and knowing that he was like this, boss level threat, not knowing really that much about him. And I remember seeing Mankind a lot, now that I think about it.
Sure.
Like, I don't know why. It was just like, oh, dude in a leather mask. Okay. Not knowing, go ahead.
That was the whole Undertaker throwing Mankind off the hell. That was like one of the big clips of the 90s to go worldwide. It was that brought me back to wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
I was kind of in and out of it. I was in the early '90s. I had, like you said, I had the whole stigma of it being fake, and that's when my bubble burst, and I was too young to understand what it meant. I basically had my like, what do you mean Santa's not real? Fuck this shit. Never
Mm-hmm.
watching it again. And then like, yeah, late '97, early '98. There was like kids in my high school bringing tapes in, and I'd catch glimpses of it, and I'd watch it a bit, but I was still like, "Oh, isn't wrestling fake?" And then it was the King of the Ring '98. Someone brought in they'd recorded the pay per view that weekend, and they brought it in. Like, "No, man, check this match out. How the hell do you fake that?" And just watching Mick Foley getting thrown off the top of the cage,
Getting
like,
thrown off
"Yo,
the cell, yeah.
wrestling's real and wrestling's raw and wrestling's cool again."
Yeah.
And that's it. We just went back and like picked up the PLEs we missed, and I need to be doing things. I am paying attention. But yeah, it was that was the thing. It was everywhere, like Foley going off the top, and it's in like the Now, Then, Forever, and the Stick in the
Oh
beginning.
yeah. I think that there was always something about the story of wrestling, either the behind the scenes story or the drama that they're putting on in the ring
Mm-hmm.
is super interesting to me. And I always kind of threatened this idea, like maybe I should watch wrestling. I just honestly didn't know how to start. Like it's really daunting to think like, oh shit, do I go back and watch old stuff? Do I like watch WrestleManias? Like what do I do? How do I get into wrestling? And
Right.
also, I just kind of didn't really do it until really until you were like, yeah, I'm really into wrestling and I fucking love it. It's my jam.
Mm-hmm.
And um I can't remember. We didn't even really start watching until you were here, right?
That's right.
Like,
Yeah, because we talked about it a bunch, like around recording and
yeah,
other stuff we did. But it was when I got to LA last September, and I still
yeah.
had shows that they wanted me to review at the beginning of my pay, and we had the two pay per views back to back on back to back days, the
Mhm.
WWE and the AEW, and you were like,
Yeah.
you know what? I'd be interested to see how the two biggest companies in the
Yeah, I
world do a
mean,
PLE.
you got to watch it anyways and like, yeah, sure,
Hmm.
I'll check it out. I'm curious about what this business is all about. And that was when I was like, "Oh, this is super fucking interesting."
Hmm.
And obviously the two different styles, and we talked about how WWE does it versus like how AEW does it,
Hmm.
and I can't remember. I can't know for sure. I guess like you could think back to like the first wrestler that you're like, I love this and I want to see this person do stuff all the time.
Hmm.
And for me, I don't know why, but like for whatever fucking reason, Jey Uso, I was like, this guy's cool. I like what he's doing. And there's other people I love, right? I love the Judgment Day, and I love Mommy, and I love what
Hmm.
Cody's doing, but something about seeing Jey and then tracking back on YouTube to see the Bloodline storyline was
Mm.
fucking amazing. I was like, holy shit, this is what I've been missing. Like, in particular, that moment when he kind of like fucking chews out Jimmy and and
Sure.
and finally leaves the bloodline by delivering a super kick to Roman. Um, but that whole like rant and speech that he had for Jimmy about him being the big brother
Hmm.
and the prom king and all this stuff, I was like, well, this is really real. Like,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
can tell that even though it's obviously played for this drama that they're building, and I
Hmm.
you can't believe for a second that Jimmy and Jay aren't probably still incredibly loving brothers
Hmm.
and support each other
Absolutely.
and all that. But that drama was like he reached deep into a very real
Sure.
place to deliver that promo.
Mm.
And I was like, this is fucking dope. I want to know more about it because that's the shit that excites me.
Sure.
Um, sorry, okay, I got to do. Oh, just speaking of
No,
which,
no.
Jimmy,
Speaking of which, Jimmy, and I think
Jimmy,
Jimmy's got emails, but I'll kind of pick up what you were saying and kind of run with it. Because those first shows that we watched, we had the weekly shows before we got to the PLEs. And one of the first things you saw in the first episode that we still talk about now is Solo's fucking disregard for furniture.
Oh yeah, fucking love that.
Just obliterating poor AJ Styles,
No.
but then
Okay,
going
go ahead.
ham on a fucking table of chairs.
That's the best part. I think when we discovered the truth that Solo Sikoa hates fucking furniture.
Hates furniture.
Oh man, does he hate furniture?
Looking at the two together, that the on ramps are an interesting thing. 'Cause you got your on ramp through me coming over to Cali and like let's check out some wrestling. And I think it's interesting if you compare the two companies that, like you say, you didn't feel like you had to, but you wanted to go back and do a lot of homework to catch up on the long running side of WWE.
Right.
Whereas AEW, I feel like they do a really good job of any of their PLEs, pay-per-views, whatever, can act as an on-ramp because they do such a great job of, these are the matches we're having tonight, this is why these people are fighting and why tonight's important.
Mm-hmm.
They run that into their weekly shows as well. And WWE got better at it on their weekly stuff. Like the last few weeks where they've had the odd video packages, like with the gauntlet match when they showed the perspectives of each of the competitors, or a few weeks back when Jay was going to have a match, and they did a really good video package for Jay building up to his like main event match.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but like talking about like superstars that kind of got you in. If I rewind 22 years to, well, no, it'd be 20 years because we were a little late getting over here in the UK. In 2004, when I discovered TNA, the one guy that made me fall in love with TNA and just almost ditched WWE and jumped ship entirely was AJ Styles.
Mm-hmm.
Like the first time I saw a AJ Styles match, I was that's it. I was like, I'm hooked. What else has this show got? Because the UK was like late coming to the party, getting hold of TNA. Because like back in early 2004, the internet still hadn't quite boomed yet, so getting access to anything that wasn't on mainstream or cable was difficult. But finally, one of the cable channels in the UK did a deal with TNA Impact, and they got access to their shows. And to begin with, they basically started from their very first event, and they spent about a year and a half playing catch up. So rather than doing one show a week, they'd show Impact like 2-3 times a week, starting from the very first one, and it took like a good year and a half, nearly 2 years, for the UK to actually catch up to the point where we were actually showing this week's TNA Impact.
Mm-hmm.
But the very first show, the opening match, was AJ Styles, Jerry Lynn, who was like one of the pioneering hardcore alternative high flyers of the 90s and 80s, and Low Key, against a team of Japanese wrestlers called the Flying Elvises. And I was like, I fucking love this. You got 3 Japanese wrestlers dressed as Elvis. And yeah, just the first time seeing AJ do his thing, I was like, this is awesome. Watch the rest of the card. That card was capped off by crowning their first champion, which at the time, the TNA was still part of the NWA. So they had access and the rights to use the NWA World Championship. And Ken Shamrock won that first title. So again, a name that had familiarity. He'd been in WWE, he'd been in UFC, and I was like, "Yo, this is dope." And that was it. Like, I was 22 years later, still watching TNA to this day, and I've watched that company go through some ups and downs, and God, it was a mess in the late 20 teens.
Mm-hmm.
And it's only just now that it's kind of recovering from the cancer it got from when Hulk Hogan was there and it nearly killed the company. But they did some great things, and I think the other thing that stood out about TNA was it was so different, like with its presentation, especially when you got to like the introduction of the six-sided ring that they had for a good number of years, which
Mm-hmm.
it automatically visually it was very different. And the main reason that they don't use it anymore today is because of how the six-sided ring was built. It had way less give to it, so it was a lot rougher on the performers. And
Right.
a lot of the guys in TNA, they were like high-flying dudes, so they were taking big bumps as it is. So like big bumps onto a way stiffer ring. They were grateful when they did switch to a four-sided. Although it changed the presentation and made it feel more generic, overall, you want the guys that you're watching that you love doing what they do to be able to do it and have that longevity.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if it wasn't for TNA, half of your WWE roster and AEW roster just wouldn't be a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like AJ Styles, Samoa Joe, Christopher Daniels. So many, like it saved the career of Christian Cage. Kurt Angle went over there after like leaving WWE. And now you got AEW doing their thing. They're building nicely towards Dynasty in a few weeks. You got the Edge and Christian over there. You got the Hardys over there. Hopefully the Dudleys will kind of fit in, but there's big hints that the Dudleys might turn up at WrestleMania. So it'd be nice to see like one last TLC match between those three teams, the teams that put that match on the map. Will Ospreay already acclimating to being on a US TV schedule and promo style, has Americans chanting bruv, which I fucking love. And speaking of people who have acclimated to the American TV and promo style and presentation style super quick, Okada is just fitting in beautifully into AEW. It's kind of a shame that he didn't go to WWE, but I do understand why he ended up going to AEW, given like how many close friends he's got working in that company. I mean, not to mention he's close friends with several of the EVPs between our boy Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks. We've also got the new TNT champion, the former Edge, Adam Copeland.
Oh
Found in a great I Quit match. And that's another thing, like, AEW has dips and rises, but there's something about AEW when it's in Canada.
Mm-hmm.
Canada just fucking eats that shit up.
Yeah.
All right, Raw's all booked from the looks of things. I see a blue screen in my eyes.
Yes, sir.
All right, sir. So let me talk you through my go-home show of PyDay Night SmackDown. Alexa Bliss and Tamina, they got a good amount of stamina, so I figured they can have them a tables mismatch. And little Miss Bliss won that tables mismatch in a 4-star opener.
No rivalry increase. What's this?
Solo called out Cody to get them up to a 4, ready for the weekend.
Ah, that's what I should have thought about doing. Okay.
We got a nice little triple threat match in the mid card between Akira Tozawa, Josh Briggs, and Dirty Dom.
1, 2, that's it. Ring the bell.
And Josh Briggs wins, and that nudges his rivalry with Ray Dominic off wrong Mysterio.
Yeah, it does just say Mysterio. I can totally understand the confusion there.
Yeah.
To just
so many years saying Ray. I'm having my JR moment. Michin and Mami.
1, 2,
just to kind of round out the mid card, and Mummy picks up a healthy win. That does all right. Fallon calls out the new women's
More
champion
rivalry.
and nudges their rivalry up. And as you can see, I have a new signee to PyDay Night SmackDown. Challenging KO for the Intercontinental Championship, we have the arrival of Shinsuke Nakamura. And we have a new Intercontinental Champion in a great match.
You had a
It
good
starts
show this
rivalry.
time.
I did have a good go-home show. So,
All
talk
right,
us
and you know,
through
on
Johnny Night Raw.
Our go-homes setting up with a submission opener to try to deepen the rivalry between Jimmy and Tyler Bate.
I'm with you.
See how this goes. Tyler Bate takes a win!
And
That was
it gets a
good,
double boost.
but it does get me a double.
Nice.
Next up, we have a promo of a first ever tag team call out to
Way.
start a new tag team with a brand new member to Raw. That's right. She's here. Asuka.
You signed the Empress of Tomorrow. Nice.
To fill out that mid card, now that she's here, she has to show what she's made of in the mid card. Hopefully she proves to be a threat for that tag team. Nope.
You might
She's
get
gonna
a
go
message
lick her
from
wounds on that one.
Triple H about that one.
That one. Sorry?
You might get a message from Triple H about that one.
Yeah, he might be not too good on that one. So I wanted to save some stamina here. Popularity went down, but it made some money.
You did.
For some
Nice.
advertising.
12K in the bag.
Yeah. This is an interesting mid card for the title between R-Truth and Bobby Lashley. I do have a question on how to better increase morale. We will see how this goes. R-Truth might be leaving me shortly for SmackDown. But it was a great match.
It was a great match. But now you have to have a better than great main event. So you might have... we'll see. Let's see how it goes. Because I see that main event staring at me.
That's very true. It's there. Promo skills just up in our fans here. Just, Jay's
that
great
was
on
a
the
charity.
mic.
Okay.
Yeah. And finally, it is a one-on-one submission match between Damian and Big E to deepen the rivalry.
Will this
Big money, no
outperform
whammies.
your title match? It does not. And you get one level out of it.
We'll see how
I have
that
a feeling
drama
if I tap R1 in a sec, that's going to give you a poor closing. It did. So that's poor finale. So
Got it.
ideally, those two matches should have been to the way around.
flipped. Yeah.
But
That makes
having a
sense.
look down the line, we got some good results. No injuries, which is important. We each have a new Japanese superstar on our rosters.
Yes, we do.
That is a nice coinky dink.
Yeah.
Okay, my good sir. Let's look at the numbers. Show quality D,
Show quality
match
still a
card B,
D.
47K, just shy of 48K, and
Nice.
a tasty 57,000 bucks in the bank. What the heck was Kevin Owens thinking? The easy way out of his match with that DQ. Oh, wait, so is Shinsuke not the IC champ? Interesting. KO took a DQ.
He just retained?
Yeah.
Wait, no, but it said that he took the title.
I'm going to have to look at that when I get into the PLE in a
I don't know
moment.
what that was. Yeah.
Because if they're saying Kevin... Because Shinsuke would have won if Kevin got DQ'd, but you can't change the title by DQ. All right, Raw, how did you do? Show quality D, match quality C, 56,000 fans.
I lost 4 grand.
You
Bummer.
lost money.
I am not doing well.
Our truth learns about consequences. Shouldn't
Again,
have tried
he already
that
said
beat down
that.
on Lashley the other week.
He said, yeah. Another match ruined by DQ. Yeah, this is all...
Way to go, Asuka.
Huh.
Tyler Bate getting
No way,
pushed
Raw
a
got
lot lately on
Asuka?
Raw.
That's awesome.
That is awesome. All right, so what does that do for the settings? Well, I got a sold-out diddle card. You got an injury rehab that I hope you won't need anytime soon, but it's there.
Yeah,
should
I know,
should it
right?
come round?
That's why I did it. That's just in case.
Uh-huh. Okay.
Oh, I took the #1 spot,
Oh,
but
you
because of
did
fans,
take the #1 spot. Look at
just
you.
barely edging out.
Oh, yeah, because you had that bad news and you stole 10% of my fans, you little motherfucker. Okay, so you are ahead by 7,000 fans. So the deficit remains the same, but my
Yeah,
budget
roughly.
is
Twice
healthier
as
than
much.
yours. All right, Johnny, it's time for our first PLEs. So let's get this underway, and I think we might have to get into some
Dirty
action out of
Dom's
these
got
as well.
emails.
Dirty Dom has things to say. Listen, I need to wipe the smile
Hold
off
on.
Briggs's face. You say hold on, I say what's up?
Does poor performance in playing affect match quality in the end?
Well, your guess is as good as mine. Well, I guess we'll find out.
Oh, okay.
Seems reasonable, Dominic. We are at a PLE and you're in a rivalry, so you're gonna punch him in that face. Have at least one tables match. Show logistics. Alrighty, 2 logistics. What does Daddy want? That will give me an extra, and that will... Okay, so let's go with the... Oh, hell yeah. Okay.
With the thing and the thing, and he's gonna be using stuff, and... Oh my goodness, I didn't just see that. Alright, here you go. Looking at my phone while you book your PLE. Wait. Are you booking a PLE?
I am booking the PLE.
So how does that work? Do you book half of it and I book half of it?
We each have 5 matches to fill.
I see.
So it's the same, but
Okay.
yeah, you'll see.
Okay.
Right. Bom diddy bom diddy bom diddy bom 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 bom. I can do that. Don't treat me like a man.
Making decisions.
What has been your favourite PLE so far in the time that you have been watching Wrasslin?
It wasn't Blood Money. It wasn't
Blood Money in Saudi
Fastlane.
Arabia? What, with the unnecessary piss boots section?
Yeah.
Oh,
So there's been several unnecessary piss boot sections.
there have been a couple.
So I'm trying to think of them all right now. So there's that. There's Fastlane. There's an Elimination Chamber, but I think there's one in between that I'm not remembering.
The Royal Rumble?
Yeah, the Royal Rumble, which is sort of a big deal. Elimination Chamber. So I think I've seen 4 WWE ones. And then what was the one that we watched, the AEW one, where they had the Texas death match nonsense?
Oh, All Out.
All Out. That one was pretty fucking good.
Yeah.
But for what I enjoy about wrestling, which is so far the story stuff, and I mostly only really know that from WWE. Like, booking wise, because I really enjoyed the first Royal Rumble match. Booking wise, the rest of it didn't really work for me. But I did love seeing Jimmy and Jay stand in the ring. Which to me means that, like, Survivor Series, I think, might have been my favorite because of all the wild shit that was in it, and I thought the booking was excellent.
Yeah.
You know, like, the storylines that we had going was really good. The booking that we had for it was really good. Fucking EO jumping, wearing a trash can and jumping off the top of the fucking sell, or the cage was fucking awesome. All of that stuff, like the rivalries between the two teams or the four teams for the women's and the men's, all worked out really well.
Yes.
So I think it might be that one. I think it might
Okay.
be War Game or Survivor Series so far. But each of them have something in it that I really like. And it's never piss boots wasting my time talking about stuff. It's never been that.
Well, that succinct thought takes you to booking your first PLE. Warning,
And you've doubled the cost.
it's going to be a bit more expensive for you.
But that's next week's show.
No, that's this show.
Doubles the cost of opposing in next week's show.
Yeah, and I played it last week.
I got emails, bro. Damn.
You do have emails.
Something's come up with special matches will cost double this week. I'm told. Okay. But I'm having a bit of a problem.
So not having your time wasted by piss boots is grand, but yeah. So Survivor Series and the Rumble probably your two favorites so far then.
Okay.
It's, we're on the road.
Oh,
to
they are both
WrestleMania.
rule breakers. That's why it didn't work.
There you go. We're on the road to WrestleMania. Right now, it's Hell in a Cell. Now, Hell in a Cell is no
I don't
longer
know what the time frame is here.
a monthly event for WWE, which is good because I miss
Oh,
the days.
I put the wrong Uso on the mic. Well, shit happens. I'm gonna lose my entire roster and all my money, so whatever.
Yeah, there's definitely lots coming up. WrestleMania season, there's just wrestling everywhere. You can't walk out your house without tripping over a wrestling pay-per-view for the next, like, I don't know, 4 to 6 weeks. TNA building towards Rebellion. Impact's building toward, that is Impact. AEW are building towards Dynasty. And WWE have Stand and Deliver and 2 nights of WrestleMania. And they are going to be mad. I think it's interesting how they're building this year's WrestleMania, and it's got the potential to be one of the better events. Some speculate maybe the best since 17, which is still heralded as like the greatest WrestleMania of all time, like peak Attitude Era, end of the Attitude Era, 2001, headlined by The Rock and Austin. Was a fantastic event. Saw the first ever TLC, second ever TLC match, but the best TLC match. WWE have been shifting their PLE schedule around quite a bit. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out, especially if Money in the Bank is in later July, because last year it was the first week of July. And there's still the possibility that Damian Priest might be the first person to run out his Money in the Bank contract.
I can't. Fuck it. I can't do any things I want to do. Alright.
Sorry, what's the problem, bud?
I can't do any of the things that I wanted to do. It doesn't matter. I just gotta auto book because I can't do any of the things that I want to do here.
Yeah, you're going to have to make a bit of a pivot there, bud.
It doesn't matter. Yeah, sure.
Oh, I see what the problem is. Wait, how did you do that?
It just auto booked.
I see. Okay. So you
I mean,
didn't book your first PLE.
No.
Why didn't you just change some stuff around?
I didn't have the roster for it. Or the
You
money.
hadn't- So you just had to, like, you could have just changed a couple of match types or released somebody.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm opening with a triple threat IC title match between Dom and Briggs and KO. And Josh Briggs is your new actual Intercontinental Champion, so it turns out the KO did hold him to that belt. Mummy Rhea brings me in an extra 13,000. Meechin and Tiffany Stratton put on a good match. And Alexa Bliss and Tamina should hopefully round out their rivalry. And they do in an amazing mid-card match. The Women's Championship is on the line as Cora Jade defends against Fallon Henley. And Cora retains her newly won women's title. And that rivalry will continue into our next PLE cycle. We have a self-promo from Roman Reigns, who has just signed to SmackDown, asking you to acknowledge his arrival on the Boo brand. And I throw one in the air, and I acknowledge the arrival of my tribal chief. And in the main event, it's Cody defending his title against Solo Sikoa in a steel cage match. Can the American Nightmare hold it to his goal? He doesn't. Solo Sikoa takes it. In a 4.5-star classic. That kind of throws a spanner in the works of my plans, but I will work that out as we get into next month. So Raw has stuff.
Raw has stuff. Yeah, this is all auto-booked, so kind of whatever it is that they thought that I could do with whatever money I had, which looks like a regular show. Essentially.
Yeah.
Yeah, in fact, there's nothing special about any of these matches.
Okay, well, you got Becky versus Io.
Yeah. No titles are on the line. No,
The rivalry's
anything
complete.
is on the line. This is gonna go badly for Truth, and he's gonna leave. Oh, he went
Truth
good
wins,
for Truth.
and the rivalry's complete.
Yeah. How is these great? Jimmy takes it.
Rivalry
And
complete.
okay. Finishing up them rivalries. I don't like just letting them do this for me, though.
Well, you
Let's
should
see.
have just moved some
Disappointing.
stuff around, buddy.
And then there's this match. And
So
the
all your
rivalry
rivalries
is
are complete.
Yeah.
So what does that do for your booking? You still get good booking, but I got amazing booking. Rivalries are growing or completed, which is what you want to see from a PLE. Because, yeah, I almost fucked myself with the budget by signing 2 people, and I immediately... There he is. Sami Zayn was on SmackDown for about 5 minutes, and I had to fire him immediately to bring myself back in budget. But I gained 149,000 fans. I lost 22 grand. You gained 92,000 fans, but you made a significant amount of money with them. The tasty 71,000 in the bank.
Yeah,
So
but
what
that's
does it...
like all I got.
Yeah. So what does that do for our standings? I get an injury rehab, which hopefully I don't need anytime soon. And I got a diddle card. You got beginner's luck. That is a gold card. And after a brief hiatus in number 2, I am back in number 1, 133,000. The budget is only just higher, but I spent a lot bringing in Roman.
Yeah.
He is possibly the most expensive player in the game. But he is the tribal chief and the undisputed. Well, not right now. He's not undisputed. No, Solar Sokoa is undisputed champion. You got 128. So the gap has grown. But now we get into post PLE, and this is where we have an opportunity to offer up trades. And I have no idea how this works if we're both human players. So entry. So who have you got? Do I want anyone? You signed AJ Styles.
I did, and that's where things went wrong.
You should have released him again.
I didn't know I could.
Ah.
Why? I mean, why would I immediately know that?
Maybe I want AJ Styles. Dom's not available for trade. Why is Dom not available for trade?
Styles
Okay. I'm just seeing people who are unavailable for trade, and I'm not sure why.
Yeah.
That's not something I've.
But then the other thing is like taking on their financial contract, right? So.
Oh, you only signed him for 5 weeks? Oh, I don't want a 5-week contract.
Yeah. Why? How long did you sign Roman for the rest of the thing?
No, I signed him for 10 weeks.
Oh, okay.
So I signed him for 2 pay-per-view cycles. Yeah, I'm gonna skip my trading and see what it does if it moves on to yours. Okay, so it allows you to make offers back to me now.
Okay, yeah, which is not. Yeah, I see. Nope.
Okay, so that's trading.
I couldn't afford anybody I would need anyways.
That's why they're not available. You sneaky little fucker.
Yeah.
All right, well, I guess I'll deal with that as we start our next pay-per-view cycle.
Yeah. And
and extra money, huh? Okay. All right. Well, I guess there's a couple of things I'm going to need to talk to you about in between recordings.
You cost my PLE too much money and I went broke and everything fucked up. So
hey. You overspent money and then instead of correcting yourself, told the computer to do it for you.
I say you make it make sense, computer, because I don't know why I couldn't do that.
Because you spent too much
money. Also, they're
money.
saying 2 weeks and then 1 week goes by and then they get mad because they didn't do it in 1 week.
Anywho, that was Johnny's first PLE, but not quite. We're going to get into our next pay-per-view cycle next week. And that'll be next week's PyDay Night SmackDown.
Yeah.
Anything else that you would like to say, mention, or...
I need more money and morale. I need more money, I need more morale and things. And fans. I need more fans.
He does.
So like, comment, and subscribe.
Speaking of fans, yeah, the sub button and that bendy share, I need you to suplex the shit out of that so we can continue to grow the Pyromaniacs and fill the Forge 500.
RKO that sub button.
Hell yeah, and spear the notification bell or something.
Right?
Yeah. Hit the people's elbow on the like button. The most electrifying move in all of sports and entertainment. Until next time, though, I love you all, and there's not a goddamn thing you can do about it. But for right now, Pi is out, so peace out, and eat your vitamins and say your prayers. No, that's not it.
Aren't you supposed to go through your emails before you do this?
That's the bottom line, because Pyro said no. The emails at the start of next week. Oh. Peace out and lights out.
What?